about a week since you finished.
It's almost 2 weeks, but we can
yeah.
lie to the viewers.
Yeah, well, we went on vacation right after, so that week didn't count. We didn't do much.
I already started training for the next one.
Start with check-in process, which we thought was going to go a lot.
Yeah, we showed up early. I thought we were going to have a lot of time. Checking in the run stuff went real smooth. You just put shoes in a bag and go tie it up onto that pole in transition 2.
This one was a little bit more complicated because there were 2 transition stations and they were far away, like 30-minute drive away from each other.
Yeah, so after we checked in the run stuff, I figured I'd better ride my bike to make sure it works, which worked perfectly on Wednesday. I rode 40 miles, no issues. And then, of course, the second I get on it, front derailleur won't shift from the small ring back to the big ring. I could pedal all day in the real easy gears, but
yeah,
it would not go back up. We wasted 2 hours.
Yeah. Well, they had the bike fixer people there.
Yeah, he got it working better than it was, but it was not fixed, and I was not confident it was going to work.
Yeah, and that the race. Just waiting for them to look at the bike took a lot longer than we expected.
We went from having too much time to rushing to Bald Eagle State Park to get the bike checked in before 5 o'clock.
By the time we even got to Bald Eagle State Park, it was like 4:30ish.
Yeah, we wanted to check out the transition station, like how far the run was from the water, and then it absolutely downpoured. It rained so hard I couldn't get my phone to work so they could scan it to give me my timing chip. But we got everything checked in and just hope for the best the next day that the bike would work. Yeah, I couldn't sleep. It had to be 3:30 when we first got up and just laid there, and then decided by 4 just to stay awake, which worked out because it takes forever to get back to the state park. And then even though I had a ton of time in the transition area, it just went by really quick, and then all of a sudden it was time to go swim. The duct tape that I had on my bike to hold the little box behind my seat with the tools and stuff in it closed was not sticking because it got wet, so I was running around looking for a piece of tape.
I'm not allowed back there, so I wasn't very helpful or useful.
I got a piece of electrical tape which held all my tools and stuff in place, or they would have been all over the road. It was time to get in the water. Wetsuit optional, which really means if you wear a wetsuit, you start all the way at the back of the line and have to wait for everybody to go, and you go last, and you're shamed.
Yeah, I'd say not many people wore a wetsuit.
I think I did 2 practice swims in the lake without a wetsuit, anticipating this.
You didn't get to get in the water beforehand. It was just right in.
No, I didn't do any warm-up. I had no time to do anything. My heart rate didn't go up until I sprinted into the water and started swimming. But since we did practice swimming in the lake all the time, I kind of knew that about 3 or 4 minutes in, I usually had a panic attack, like I was going to drown. So I was ready for it, and it happened right on cue. I was doggy paddling for a minute just to gain my composure, and then after that, I was fine. But I think the kayakers thought they'd be pulling me out of the water for a minute.
Is it like swimming with a bunch of people around you? Because you're not used to that.
Nobody really passed me. I was catching up to people, and I don't think I swam necessarily fast. It was right at 40 minutes.
Yeah, you're 41 minutes. Which, is that what you were expecting to be around?
Yeah, that's what it was in training, pretty much.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it would have been a little faster with the adrenaline for the race, but my minute of doggy paddling probably made up for it.
Got out of the water.
I unzipped my swim skin because I couldn't reach the zipper. Then I spent honestly, it had to be pretty close to, I don't know if it's quite a half mile, but it was a far jog up to the bikes. Spent most of the time digging my earplug out of my right ear. It was in there. And then I think my total transition time was only 4 minutes, which I thought was pretty good. I chose to not wear socks, but then I decided just to wear my shoes instead of keeping them on my bike because it was all grass to get to the bike mount line. So I wasn't too worried about my cleats slipping the pavement because there was no pavement. Yeah, I shifted from my big ring down to my small chain ring twice the entire race.
And this one's pretty hilly, right?
I guess there's 2 big hills, and those are the only times I shifted out of it. Other than that, I did not. I would have much more if it was shifting better, but just out of fear of not being able to get it back in.
Your bike time was about 3 hours.
Yeah, it started really fast. I thought I was doing really good. My initial pace was like 24 miles per hour. And then I hit about mile 40 where that big hill is, and it significantly dropped off. Between the hill and then the headwinds the last 20 miles, it became pretty tough.
Do you think you would have done better if you were able to shift more?
Probably not, maybe, but I don't know. Maybe my quads would have cramped less every time I tried to stand to pedal. My quads cramped, so I
Yeah.
stopped attempting to stand, so I did the whole bike pretty much seated. The bike was actually kind of fun. I almost forgot I had to run a half marathon at the end. There was a lot of talk at check-in and everything else where other people around talking about how hilly the bike course was. I didn't really see it as a very difficult hilly course. I don't know if that's because where we live or how much mountain biking I do, that the hills just didn't
Yeah.
impact me as much.
Well, you looked good coming off the bike.
Yeah,
And
my
then-
first mile was pretty fast, and it wasn't. Looking back to it, I don't know if I could blame the accumulation of the swim and bike for my slow run as much as the hills that I didn't anticipate on the run and the hot, humid, no shade.
90-degree day.
Yeah, it was tough. I didn't let a cup of ice pass me by without grabbing it and dumping it down my shirt or in my hat.
Yeah.
Well, at the run, I thought it'd be about a half hour faster, and it quickly turned into just try not to walk. When I think back, I might have gone faster if I walked and ran once in a while, but I was just taking it as a moral victory of not walking.
What was your total time?
Not even sure, maybe 2 hours and 20 minutes, which
Yeah.
is way longer than any half marathon I've ever run in training. But I only trained on flat too, and there were a lot of hills, so I think that hurt me.
Your mile pace was like 10 minutes, which isn't.
It's slow for me. It rained really hard about 30 seconds after I finished.
I was waiting for you in the stadium, and everyone in the state, it was in Beaver Stadium, everyone was getting kicked out because it looked like it was about to pour and be a big thunderstorm.
The race overall, it was the first triathlon I've ever done. It was probably a harder course than what I should have chose for the first one, but I guess it was a good race. I don't have anything to compare it to. The wind I thought was worse than the hills.
What did we have for breakfast that day?
Blueberry muffins. I had 2 blueberry muffins, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My own mixture of maltodextrin and fructose mixed in all of my bottles. I think it was at least 30 grams, and then with my electrolytes I think there was another 15 grams of carbs in there, so I had 4 bottles with me, each with, I don't know, 45 to 50 grams of carbs, and then I had 5 gels squeezed into my little flask thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I consumed all of it on the bike. Good on the bike, coming off not so good. I don't know if it was the heat or what, or if I was over. I don't know if you could be over carbohydrated during a race, but
Yeah.
I didn't take in much during the run because I was sick to my stomach and cramping and unsure of if I needed more or less or to lay down. I'm just actively trying to lose weight without having performance drop off because of caloric deficit.
Yeah. I feel like your diet, our diet to begin with, is, I feel like, pretty good.
I'm eating less though.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's easy to be competitive
When you're that.
when you're 205 pounds, which is what coming out of mostly competing in CrossFit,
Right.
I was.
So pretty much eating the same how we do, but less.
Yeah, and a lot of donuts and cookies and things coming to work, and I've been doing my best
Not to.
not to eat them.
It's tough when everyone's bringing it there.
'Cause I tend to be all or nothing. I could either eat no donuts or I'm going to eat 8 donuts. No donuts. Except for when we're on vacation.
Right. Those were really good. Any pee breaks?
I peed once during the race.
What's
Coming
that?
out of transition 2, as I ran out, I peed, and then I went. I've done like 6-hour bike rides without peeing once. I just don't,
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't pee much when I'm exercising. When I signed up, I probably only had 10 weeks to train.
Yeah.
At that time, I could hardly swim 50 yards in the pool. So I probably would have swam more if I had the time. I could hardly swim 10 weeks before the course, or before the race, so
Yeah.
I think 40-minute swim was a win there. The bike went well. And then I think the same goes for the run. If I had more time to build up my running. Every time I tried to increase my miles early on, I would injure myself.
Yeah.
Whether it was my foot, my Achilles, my hip. So I had a couple weeks where I ran maybe 6 miles leading up to it in the whole week, so not ideal. And they were all flat miles,
Yeah.
and the course was not flat.
So your training plan right now, you just bought one, right?
Yeah, I just got a training plan off Training Peaks.
Okay.
I think what I did was fine building up before, but just to get a little more structure, and then I can't cherry pick my workouts and just do what I feel like doing that day.
Yeah.
which I think I was doing a little bit.
Your next one's in about 10 weeks at this point. We're going to do another 70.3.
Yeah, Jones Beach,
See how you do on that one, how you feel.
much flatter course.
Okay. So you're obviously nervous for your first one. How you feeling going into your second one?
Good, I guess. But I can't do. I feel like I can only do better. Like my time was 6 hours before.
What are you hoping to do this time?
I don't know, 5.5. I guess would be the next
Next goal?
reasonable step. We'll just go say we're gonna go for sub 5 hours. Why not
Yeah.
just improve an hour in 12 weeks?
Not to mention, so you're doing another 70.3 in about 10 weeks, and then you're going to do a full marathon, just a marathon running.
We'll see. But
Yeah.
the marathon's 2 weeks after the race. I might do the Steam Down Marathon
Yeah.
right after. We'll see
Just-
how my running build-up goes the next couple of weeks.
I think that'd probably just be helpful just for the run.
I think it would mentally, before doing a full Ironman, having run a full marathon,
Yeah.
knowing you could do it would be good.
Yeah.
Lake Placid is the goal next year. I don't know why. I've just always wanted to do the Lake Placid.
And that one's a
race.
full Ironman, which is a
Ironman.
huge jump.
Double everything.
Yeah. I appreciate your time.
Just gonna try to get fitter in the next 11 weeks or whatever it is.
How you feeling?
Rough. My
Yeah.
legs are so cramped.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down right here.
I literally sprinted the last mile. I was like, ugh, ugh.